Who are you? If this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome to the club. If you're returning, well, welcome back. And we talk about art. And why art? Why talk about art? What's so important about art that we need to talk about it for? What does it do for us? We pick up the newspaper and we read about someone spending $150 million on a painting, on a Van Gogh, and we wonder, why? What? Or we think, oh my God, they must have such a wonderful life if they can live with these great things. And what is art? Why talk about art? What is so special about art? Well, that's difficult for me to answer because I have been in love with art since I was a teenager. To me, Western paintings are mankind's greatest achievement. And, like a Rembrandt or a Vermeer is the pinnacle of human civilization. Now, I understand most people would not agree with me. Looking at this rationally, I know that most people would not think that that's the case. They would point to landing on the moon or inventing the airplane or the light bulb or modern agriculture or modern medicine and say those are actually much greater achievements. But in my heart of hearts, our paintings are our greatest achievement by far. And I've always believed that, which is why I'm an artist. My name's Leonard Koziansky. This is my studio. This is where I work. And I've spent my life dedicated to art and beauty. And what are they? Why are they so captivating? Why art? Well, it embodies many things. It can embody beauty, which means it can sort of embody truth. And, beauty is a very real thing in this world. One of the great misconceptions in our society is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And that's not true. Beauty is a very real thing. It's a very objective thing. And there have been tests that have been confirmed this. Okay? Now, in one famous test, they sat thousands of people down and they had them look at female faces, women's faces, and rate them on their beauty. And these were women from all different cultures, different countries, different races, and it was surprising how much agreement there was on what was a beautiful face. And so then they tried to figure out, well, what makes a face beautiful? And that's elusive. Beauty is elusive. It's what's there, but it's sort of hard to define. It's sort of like truth. And, different cultures throughout history have attempted to define beauty and point out what is beautiful. And throughout history, throughout all these cultures, there's surprising amount of agreement on what constitutes beauty. So we know that it's real. Now, if you and I were to go to the National Gallery of Art and stand in front of Renoir's Girl with the Watering Can, and someone came up next to us and said, oh my God, that's awful. That's the most ugly thing I've ever seen in my whole life, we'd think they were nuts. We'd want to put them in an institution. Or if you and I were standing in front of Vermeer's Girl with the Red Hat and someone came up behind us and said, oh my God, that is the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh, it makes me sick. Well, we'd want to put them in an institution. And for that reason, we know that beauty exists. It's there. It's very real. And so I'm going to talk to you about beauty. I'm going to talk to you about art and art that tries to encapsulate beauty. And I'm going to give you some discussions about technique. And I'm going to talk to you about sort of the backstory of why I make some of my paintings and, what motivates them so that you can understand when you look at other art, what helped to create that piece of artwork. And so I'm going to give you a very specific point of view about my artwork and about other people's artwork. And it's a very strong personal opinion. And I don't expect you to agree with me. I expect you to have your own opinion. But in order for you to develop your own opinion, in order for you to have a mind of your own, you need reference points. And so I'm giving you a reference point. I'm giving you my perspective. Now, if I'm out on the Chesapeake Bay in my sailboat and I want to know where I am, well, there are various reference points. Okay, there's a church steeple over there and a water tower over there and a buoy back there. And so then by looking at those different reference points, I can know where I am. And that's what I want you to be able to do too. I want you to be able to know where you are and who you are based on reference points. And so I'm going to give you one reference point, and you're going to need to go look for others because you're going to need them to know who you are and where you are. And so I'm going to talk to you about my art, and I'm going to talk to you about other people's artwork. And like in one of my videos, I talked about Matisse, and I took one of the paintings that is most highly regarded. And I try to explain why I thought it was the worst painting in the world, and which I really believe. And I got a reply. People reply to these videos, and I respond to those. I read all of them, and I reply back. And she said, "Well, Leonard Kozianski, that Matisse is a great painting. What are you talking about?" And I respect that. That person's speaking from a position of strength. They have a point of view, and I respect that point of view. And so I just replied I said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and to write a reply. Or another time I'm talking about Picasso and Bryce. I mentioned Bryce Marden, and I was briefly one of his students, and I hate his artwork. Oh my God, I think the guy's a total space cadet. But that's my opinion of Bryce Marden. And I had someone reply to my video saying, "Oh no, Bryce Marden's one of my favorite artists. Are you kidding me? I love his artwork." So fine, very good. Again, I appreciate that point of view. I want you to have a point of view on the subject of art and beauty. And when we look at a piece of art, what makes it beautiful? Is it the skill that was used to create it? Or is it the talent of the artist? Or does it sort of embody some aspect of beauty which we find, especially captivating, like a sunset? Or does it challenge us? Does it expand our mind? Does it make our life bigger? And that's what art should do. By us looking at the world through different artists' points of view, that should make our world bigger. It should make our life more worth living. It should make us richer as human beings. Ignorance is one of the worst evils in the world. And if we can expand our minds, if we are open to learning new things, listening to other points of view. Unfortunately, we live in this culture that is very much dedicated to trying to make us feel good. And, movies and TV, and they use, one of the devices that they use is confirmation bias. And what confirmation bias is confirming what you believe about something. And when someone, does an editorial or a video, something that confirms what you believe, well, that makes you feel good. And we feel good about that. And, and when they do a TV program, they want it to appeal to millions of people. And so they'll do focus groups. They'll sit all, 20 people in a room, and they'll show them the TV show, and they'll say, well, did you like the blonde or did you like the redhead? And so if they say, well, no, we really liked the redhead, we didn't like the blonde so much, well, they'll get rid of the blonde and put the redhead in because they want to appeal to lots of people. They want to make them feel good. These videos aren't that way. They're not here to make you feel good. They're here to challenge you, to expand your mind, to help you to learn new things, to give you a reference point for your own opinion. I want you to have a mind of your own. I want you to have opinions of your own, and whether you agree with me or not. And so I'm not going to be giving you confirmation bias. In fact, you might walk into a museum and say, oh, I'm not going into that room because Leonard Kozianski would like those paintings, and I don't like what he likes. I like this stuff over here. That's good. That means you have a point of view. You have a mind of your own. And that's what I'd like to give you. I'd like to give you a point of view, a perspective of your own about art and about beauty, because art and beauty are a big part of our world. But now, if you want to be a member of the club, then subscribe. And my videos will show up on your subscribe list. And, this is a club. It's like an art club. And the club's getting bigger. And the more, I hate to say it, but, the more people subscribe, the more authority it gives these videos, which is good. So, please subscribe. But, even if it was just one of you, if even it was just one person out there watching these videos, I'd make them. Now, I'm an old man. I'm a former college professor. And so I guess I have to give you an assignment. So what is your assignment? Well, your assignment is to create an art collection of your own. And what I would like you to do is once a month, I would like you to buy a piece of artwork, but I don't want you to spend any more than $100 on it. Okay, if you go $200, I won't object, but $100 or less. And you can do that. You can go to a museum shop and buy a poster from an exhibition and take it to one of these big box stores and get a frame for it. You can do that for less than $100. eBay has some amazing pieces. And, I myself, I don't have a lot of money, and I've purchased some really interesting works of ceramics for less than $100. There are estate sales, and you can buy things there for less than $100. And, there are even some of these minor auction houses like Jackson's World Art Treasures where, you can find unsigned oil paintings that are very interesting for under $100. And that's what I'd like you to do. And now I don't want any binge collecting. I don't want you to go out and buy 12 at once. I want you to do once a month because I want you to see how your taste changes over a year's period. And I don't care if you're already an art collector or an art student or an art teacher or a member of the general public. You're part of this audience. You're part of this group. And I would like you to do that. And it's a part of your world that you should incorporate into your life. And many people have. Because, art's that way. They make movies for millions of people. They make TV shows for millions of people. I make a painting for one other person. One other person buys my painting and puts it in their home. It's a very personal sort of one-to-one thing. Now, yes, they appear in museum shows and in books and online, but really it's one object created for one individual. And that's what makes art very different from movies and TV. And that's why art can be very personal and doesn't have to appeal to everyone. Whereas movies and TV shows do. And so I don't have to indulge in confirmation bias. I don't have to try to make you feel good. If these videos make you feel good, great. But if they challenge you, if they help you to know who you are, if they help you to have a mind of your own, that's great. So thank you for watching.